President Shiraz's visit is in a couple of days.
Yes, so I heard.
All's going smoothly, except today we found out that an Iranian man named Azad Ahmadi is going to be stoned to death in Isfahan province on the same day as the treaty signing.
What's the crime?
Being gay in Iran. Officially, they've had a moratorium on stoning since 2002. Unofficially, local tribal councils have continued the practice.
You're turning a blind eye and gonna let it happen.
Timing can't be a coincidence.
The hardliners in Tehran are sending a message to their base, ma'am.
Yes, they are. Just because we're dealing with the West doesn't mean we're going soft.
The optics won't be good.
Especially for Mr. Ahmadi. Sorry. I should get back.
There's more. Human Rights Campaign is planning a protest outside the White House during the signing ceremony.
Okay. Hey, Dean, let's back channel with the Iranians. See if we can get them to at least postpone the execution. And why don't you sit down with HRC and assure them that we are doing everything we can to stop the stoning. See if you can get them to back off the protest.
Hi, everybody. I'm Peter Travers, and welcome to Popcorn, where we tell you what is happening in the pop culture. And there's nothing popping right now like Madam Secretary. And Tea Leoni, our guest today, is playing Elizabeth McCord, the Secretary of State, who deals with things like genocide, the Greek debt crisis, human trafficking. She was held hostage in Iran, and yet she raises 2 children and deals with a husband, you know. Hopefully, today's interview won't be that tough on you. So, welcome to this. So that was it. I heard you always wanted to be a political powerhouse. This was your dream, and now it happened.
Yeah. Well, it really wasn't my dream. It was everyone around me. They just
really
insisted, you know, you should
They
really
said yes.
run. No, this is odd. I mean, if you know me, this is an odd spot for me. My mother laughed, actually.
She laughed
when I
at
told
the
her that
idea
I
of-
was going to be playing Secretary of State. That was her first reaction.
Such a wonderful sense of support
yes,
for that.
Yes, such a sense of humor, that one. But actually, as I've gotten into it a little bit, this is pretty kicky. I like it.
I bet it is.
I like it.
And yet you are so convincing. You, a Sarah Lawrence dropout, are now the Secretary of State.
Oh my God, are you and my mother talking?
We spoke before, you know, you were a little late coming. So I said, get the mom on the phone. I want to hear the truth about what's happening.
That
to
is
do
the
this.
truth. I am a dropout.
But that's the kind of great thing about this. I
Yeah.
think the first Secretary of State being Thomas Jefferson. And then you. So
Just
it's
like
a line.
that.
It's a line.
Yeah.
That
It's
just goes
just
through
A to
that.
B. It makes perfect sense.
So what did you say when you got the offer to be?
I laughed.
You laughed
No,
too.
I, you know, the thing is, I couldn't do it if this character had been a lifetime politician. And heck, they probably wouldn't have offered it to me if that was the character. I think that the fun of it is that Elizabeth really does have business being in that seat. She is good at it. She has an inherent sense of diplomacy that is spectacular. And she's a mother.
And it's also a show that has a marriage that's a good marriage.
Yeah. Shocker.
It's kind of
I
a
know.
shocker because
It
no
is a
one
shocker.
wants that.
I know.
Everybody wants the
Well,
problem.
I think that there's an idea, a misnomer, that the drama lies in the straying and the rogue husband and that kind of a story. But in fact, there's a lot of drama in a 25-year marriage with 3 kids. I mean, it's tough. And the stuff that we see them go through, it's entertaining because they know each other so well.
But I love that Tim Daly, as the husband, is playing a religious scholar. Because I would think when the idea first came up and they said, oh yeah, the husband, it's a good marriage, he's a religious scholar. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's what?
You don't see that every day on
You don't
TV.
see it anywhere.
That doesn't usually pop up synonymous with that's entertainment.
It doesn't, and
No.
yet it's a huge
Yeah.
success.
Yeah. And I mean,
Where
I
did you
think
go
it's,
right?
it's so perfect. It's perfect. I mean, Barbara Hall is really doing an extraordinary job of balancing some very intense political plot lines that are thick and need great attention in order to sort of make sense. And then we're able to follow this woman, the humanity of the people in our government who are giving it everything they've got. And I think that she's making it entertaining is really great.
So of all of the Secretary of States, women Secretary of States that exist out there. Who do you get the most feedback from? Hillary Clinton, Madeleine Albright, or Condoleezza Rice?
Well, you know, I'll tell you, the person really who I've spent the time with is Madeleine Albright. That we've had a couple of phone conversations, and we had a what I considered a great lunch. I was such a dolt. I was just sitting like, oh my God. So like, I don't know. What do you? I literally at one point had to sit on my hands because I was leaning. You're a fellow leaner, so
we are leaners.
And I was like, oh my God, oh my God. Anyway, she's a magnificent woman, really.
I remember the first time I met you for 5 minutes, and you had just done Bad Boys.
Yes.
And there you are with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence doing this boom, boom, boom. And then you're working for incredible filmmakers. David O. Russell in Flirting with Disaster. Woody Allen in Hollywood Ending, which I always remember because you were his ex-wife and gave him a job directing, and he goes blind.
Right.
I think
Isn't that
a
fabulous?
blind filmmaker is, you know.
That's priceless.
It's still,
truly.
it's coming. So do you get excited when you're working with that kind of filmmaker, when you're just starting out in your career?
Yeah, I mean, I think...
What did you want besides control and power? What was it you were seeking? Stardom, adulation, 24/7?
Let's see. You know what? I do think that I do like to make people laugh. And that's sort of my favorite jobs are the ones where I can make people laugh. And as it turns out, even my serious stuff makes people laugh. So I'm on a roll.
You have 2 children who are
Yes.
teenagers.
Yes.
Are they
So it's
good,
pretty
honest
good.
critics of you? Do they look at your work and say, Mom?
Yes.
Really?
It's funny that you bring that up. I haven't, yes. I mean, my son, who's just about 13,
That's the toughest.
he occasionally, yes, honesty. Wow, brutal. You know, we'll watch the show, and Miller will say, you know, something will happen, and he'll go, Mom, eek. And I'm like, what? Eek, what is that? And he's like, let's keep watching.
I think I want to use that in
Yeah.
a review. Eek.
Listen.
Eek. It's like, eek, I don't.
Or this is the best. Yeah, that was something. What does that mean? That was something. That was something. No, Mom, excellent. That was really something.
That's
Barf.
it. Brian Dennehy once said to me that you come backstage to see an actor after a performance and you don't know what to say. Do this. I tell people, say, Dennehy, you've done it again. You know? That's it. So it could be.
That's good.
No, it's
That
not.
is
It's
good.
not. But it's
That
good
is good.
to have that honesty. You wouldn't want them to just be saying,
No.
Oh, yes.
And we're so far from that we're not
You're the
really at
Meryl
risk.
Streep of network television. Yes, this is what we want from you. So I had heard too that when you have time off, which is so often when you do a show
Yeah.
like this, that you golf and that you golf to kill.
No,
No,
golf.
come on.
You know what? I gave up golf, and I'll tell you why. Because the last time I really played, I was 9 months pregnant with Miller, and when you have this huge belly in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
you have to get your hips out of the way, or you will
Yeah.
harm your child. So my game was as best as it's ever been. It was perfect, and now that I don't. I can't. I've never gotten back to it. It's been downhill since that
So you
child
have to
was
be
born.
pregnant to really be at your
Yes.
best.
And that's not happening.
Well, you heard it here
So
first.
now I'm
people.
fly fishing. I like to fly
fishing.
fish.
That's a great
That's
thing
my
to.
thing.
That's a great thing to
Yes,
do.
I
So now
love
we've
that.
learned all of this.
Yeah.
Well, Ted, this show, this is your first time on it, but it
Yes,
always
thank
ends in
you.
song.
It always ends in
It
song.
always does.
Oh, God.
No matter who's here, all those directors, all those people you worked with.
Well, listen, it's you know, it's your pain. So
I'm willing to take it. I
ends in
want
song?
it. It ends in song.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
know.
yes, good.
because I don't really,
happy
you know,
now.
I'm actually, I think I went once. This is an important story. It's not really a dirty little secret, but I had a sinus infection, and I went to the ear, nose, throat, and this woman is, you know, gagging down my throat with some kind of camera, and she goes, "Oh, look at that! Why, you're missing a vocal cord."
That's so great.
Shocker. Anyway,
That's
so
why
I
you
don't
have that
sing.
great voice.
Well, great, but when it goes into song, it ain't so great.
But
Peter.
we're not asking for a full
Okay,
song.
all right.
We're
I'm
just
gonna.
asking
Here's the thing that my mother
captures your
used to do.
spirit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take your name. Peter, Bombita, Toledo, Gofita, T-legged, toe-legged, bow-legged, Peter.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And your singing voice is your voice.
As well, because there isn't an alternative.
Well, there's no, there's
Yes,
no
if there were an
other place
alternative,
for you
I'd
to
grab
go.
for it. Trust me.
Well, I loved it, and you get my vote for president. You really do. Even if it's season 8.
Okay.
You know,
Oh,
it's
God.
okay by me.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
That's great. Look at this.